Welcome to a Fortnight on the Isle. I'm your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and it has definitely been a couple of weeks, exemplified by a very, very weak voice that I'm experiencing for today's video, basically. If there are any major voice cracks, frequent voice cracking, any other weakness or other odd sounding nonsense going on with my voice in today's video compared to normal, I sincerely apologize for all of that. Just had a lot going on the last couple weeks, especially the last few days, that has seen my voice not really get much of a break at all. And then of course, at the time of recording this, I also just finished streaming a few hours on the second channel as well, so my voice is kind of out of it. With that in mind, I guess that means that we should probably just jump right into the update of this video, try to keep things a little bit short so that I can save my voice, and also to save time, because yeah, this video is being recorded the evening before it's supposed to come out, and I would like to get this video done on time. So I guess we're just gonna jump right into the bulk of the content of this video. Can check timestamps down below for any particular section you might be interested in. We'll start off like normal with the bi-weekly reading, and there's actually not that much to talk about this week, especially compared to last, because I've not done very much reading. There have been a few days where I just haven't been able to, other days where I've been a bit busy with some other things, and so I just haven't made reading as top a priority this fortnight is all. But I did get a couple things done in the meantime. However, the main thing is The Carpet Makers by Andres Aschbach. I did manage to read this. It did take a couple days longer than I expected for it to, but I managed to get through all of it, and I really enjoyed this. The thing is, I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about this ending, actually. You know, even though it's been like a week or something since I actually finished reading it, I'm still not 100% sure how I feel. The ending, like the reveals and stuff like that, aren't necessarily the problem. It's actually more like the 3 or so chapters prior to the last 2 chapters. So it's like chapters, I don't know, like 14 through, it's like chapters 13 through 15 or so that I'm a little bit less sure on, that I wasn't as into while I was reading them, and that seemed irrelevant until the last couple chapters, of course. So I'm like still trying to wrap my head around some of that stuff, but I did have a really good time with the book overall. There's a lot of really great construction to this that is honestly astoundingly good. You don't often see stories that are like, for all intents and purposes, a fix-up novel, basically, where each chapter is more or less its own thing, but in this case, it like expands what's actually going on, and they do all relate to one another, generally through one specific tie. That is usually made pretty explicit, you know, relatively shortly into each chapter, so you kind of see what the connections are. But it's a really good time. I really enjoyed it. Every one of my friends who I know who has read it has rated it 5 out of 5. I think I might do the same. I might just be the only person I know who gives it a 4 out of 5. I'm not sure. But it is still a really good time. I definitely recommend it. The only other thing, general, like, recreational reading that I've done the last couple weeks has been The Heart of the Naga by Lee Young-do, and I'm not even through this. I was intending to, and thinking I would finish this book by the time, you know, I was making this update. If nothing else, then I might be like, you know, a couple days away. Like I might be like 3/4 of the way through. I'm only around halfway through. I'm like 56% of the way through the book. Like I said, kind of the same thing. Both of these books have just happened to be a little bit slower and taken a bit longer than I expected. And Heart of the Naga, I've been taking a little bit slower, more or less on purpose. And I've also been really enjoying that, mostly for world building stuff, culture building stuff. In part 3 specifically, it's basically just 5 parts, the book, so I'm 3 out of the 5 parts in, and part 3 definitely thickens the plot a lot, whereas the first 2 parts are just kind of like building some stuff up, and like I said, a lot of world building stuff. I'm really enjoying all of that a ton. Now that the plot is starting to ramp up a little bit in part 3, I'm really enjoying that too. Having a great time. My only real complaint with Heart of the Naga up to this point is that there are points where the translation is a little bit stilted. My understanding is that part of this might just be, you know, general difficulties with translating Korean into English specifically, and also, you know, certain elements of the English not really flowing the most smoothly as well, that I think could have been touched up a little bit. So there's a sentence now and again that's a little awkward or stilted. There's a few, you know, redundancies in some of the prose, but all things considered, it's like, it's not offensively bad, you know. It's a enjoyable story with some really cool ideas and stuff going on, and so I'm glad that there is a translation for it, because at times somewhat awkward translation is better than no translation at all. But outside of the little bit of awkwardness sometimes with some sentences now and again, I'm having a really good time with it and can't wait to continue. For what I plan to read over the next couple of weeks, basically, I'm just going to be finishing Heart of the Naga, and then I will actually probably be reading Daughter of Shrikes by A.J. Drummond as my next read after that, and that should basically take me through the rest of June. As for anything that might happen after that, I haven't really made any like firm decisions, any confirmations for what I'm actually going to do there yet, mostly because my reading has taken a step back the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to predict too much these next couple of weeks, just to save myself a little bit of a headache there. The only other reading project that I did was, I talked about in the last one of these updates, I talked about how I had finished reading the first part of Christopher Rocchio's new book. Well, he has officially announced the book now. It is, The Smoke of Sacrifice is the new title for it, and I finished reading part 1 in the last one of these videos, and over this fortnight, I did a second read-through speed read for a specific project that Christopher and I had to coordinate on for the book, and so I reread part 1, basically, and that was good. Also reread another story by him that I don't think has been officially announced yet, so I'm not going to say anything more about that. Just general work stuff, but that I have also been reading and, having a good enough time with. That's going to take us into the bi-weekly gaming, because, again, there wasn't really that much reading to talk about, all things considered. There was a lot more gaming that happened these last couple of weeks. I mean, I guess I did have a lot of gaming that I talked about in the last one of these videos as well, but so this video I did continue streaming The Last of Us Part 2. At the time of recording this, I just came off of the second to last stream for it, so I have continued that game, got a few more hours into that, handful more hours, I suppose, and then over the next couple of weeks, I will be finishing that. I'll be finishing that this weekend, basically, so that's one of the gaming projects that I've been doing. The other bit of gaming that I've been doing these last couple of weeks was I finally went ahead and, I had a little bit of free time, and just kind of wanted to relax with something, and I decided to finally give some of the DLC of Far Cry 6 a shot, specifically Lost Between Worlds I played through, and it's certified okay. I'm probably going to make a game grind video specifically about Far Cry DLC once I've played some more of the other DLC stuff, but Lost Between Worlds is fine. It's not bad, but I didn't particularly enjoy it. But what I have been enjoying after I finished that is I went into some of the other DLC stuff for the game, which is Voss's Mind. There's also a couple chapters for Pagan's Mind and Father's Mind, so the main villains of Far Cry 3, 4, and 5, respectively, have DLC chapters within Far Cry 6 that are you're basically stuck within the mind of those characters and you have to escape it. And it's a very particular type of gameplay scenario that you're in with each of those chapters. If you played one, you've played all three of them. They're basically the same thing, and they're going to be repetitive in the sense that you're basically doing the same thing multiple times if you want to, to complete it, to go through the whole thing. Don't really know how to describe it super explicitly, but I'm really into actually what this is doing. So I played all the way through the first level of Voss's Mind, and I'm probably going to be playing a lot more of that these next couple weeks, and then I also want to get through the other couple of chapters for that, for the other villains, and do that just because it's been fun, just something that's quick, relatively quick and easy. It's just a few hours to just go through and do a very thorough playthrough of one of those on any given level. So I just kind of have been doing that every once in a while, and I'm probably going to be doing that through the rest of the month, basically. That's my main gaming plans, just to do that, to basically continue to relax. Probably this fortnight I will also actually, I think, start recording the Resident Evil 4 Let's Play. I was going to do that this fortnight, but then I had other stuff that I did instead. I went and watched some more movies and produced a bunch of movie magic videos instead, and then I was going to record that today as of this video's release, but because of the weak voice problems and all of that kind of stuff, I'm going to take the next few days and not do a whole bunch of talking and recording, so I'm probably going to do that over these next couple of weekends instead. But that is all for the gaming that I've been enjoying these last couple of weeks. For the cinema, I've also had a little bit of fun. I watched both Iron Lung, finally, these last couple of weeks, and then I also went and remembered that Disclosure Day was coming out in theaters, and I went and saw that in theaters, and I enjoyed both of those movies a lot. I've been a little bit surprised by the much more mixed discourse of Disclosure Day. I had a really, really good time with the movie. The more discourse that has come out around it, I understand why there's some of the complaints are a thing, whereas, you know, before I just didn't really see like what people were complaining about in general, like what the general sentiment was. I was like, I didn't see any problems. What are the problems people have? And now that people are pointing them out, I'm like, I can see it, but I still disagree with the points. I still had a really good time with it. And Iron Lung I also really enjoyed as well. Yeah, it was a really good time. I really respect and enjoyed both those movies, and I will be talking about them on the second channel in the relatively near future. As for anything to be watched these next couple of weeks, I forgot that I was going to watch The Color of Magic this fortnight, and so I may very well actually go through and watch that little brief mini-series this fortnight, since I do want to produce a movie magic video about that as well. So that's something that I am considering doing this fortnight now. Yeah, that's basically all the plans that I have there. That's going to take us into the upcoming releases, what videos that I have scheduled to plan out on each of my channels these next 2 weeks. And yeah, it's still a relatively packed schedule. I'm going to try my best to reduce things a little bit in July. I think July will be a little bit calmer, so that's good. But for these next couple of weeks leading up to that point, I do have a lot of videos. Tomorrow on the 22nd on the second channel will be, you know, kind of what I just foreshadowed like 50 seconds ago or whatever, is going to be my movie review of Iron Lung. That's going to be a video coming out tomorrow. Finally went and watched that, obviously, and had a good time, and more information will be coming out in that video tomorrow. On Tuesday, the 23rd, on the main channel, will be a review for The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett. On Thursday, on the main channel as well, another Book Binge episode will be a top 5 ranking list, but it's not like a proper ranking in the sense of like which ones did this thing the most. I'll be talking about books that made me cry, basically. So it's just a prepare to cry video where I just talk about 5 books that I know made me shed tears, plus a couple honorable mentions that may or may not. So I had an enjoyable time making that video, but it was a fun one, so I hope you check it out. On Friday the 26th on the second channel will be the 4th and final episode of the very brief Need for Speed Carbon Let's Play. That's been a fun time going through that. I had a fun time recording that all in one day, and now that Let's Play will be concluding here very soon. On Saturday the 27th, I already talked about this a little bit a couple sections ago, I will be finishing The Last of Us Part 2 this weekend in that stream, so that'll be Saturday the 27th when I do that. For what's coming out next week, there will be a handful of really fun videos next week as well. Starting on the 28th, next Sunday on the main channel, will be a brief little manga-related book binge video where I talk about the next manga series that I'm going to be starting to read, and that is, well, you can see it in the thumbnail, it's Vinland Saga. And Buddy and I are going to be basically buddy reading that over the remainder of the year, so that video is just kind of going to be announcing that, basically. On Tuesday, the 30th, will be the next book binge video. This is going to be my Casey Cannon update, my top 15 books of all time, revised, basically, 1 year later. That list has surprisingly changed a good bit, actually, and so I felt justified in actually updating it because it was quite a bit different than it was last year. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Next Wednesday on the 1st, on the second channel, will be another episode, a long time coming, a proper episode of the Game Grind. That will be one where I talk about The Last of Us Part 2, where I talk about the chronological mode of the game and determine, you know, whether I think that mode fixes some of its major structural problems amidst some other commentary on some other topics as well. Yeah, that's a video that I'm going to be getting up there pretty soon because I am finishing the game. I just finished the bulk of the game where that's going to be relevant to the actual conversation of that video, so that will be coming out here in about a week and a half time. On Thursday, July 2nd, will be related to Tuesday's book binge video, my Casey Cannon update, except it's going to be a third episode of 1-star reviews of some of my favorite books. Thursday's video specifically is going to be about the new additions to my favorite books of all time. So Tuesday's video will be updating the list, including a handful of new entries. That Thursday's video to follow will be me reading a couple of 1-star reviews for each of the new additions, so that will be a lot of fun. Recording that video was a heck of a lot of fun because I already did that at this point, so yeah, that was enjoyable. The next Friday on the 3rd will be my next State of Affairs video. Actually, it won't be a Let's Play video like normally happens on Fridays. That will be the State of Affairs for July 2026. So that will be happening next week. And then on Saturday, the 4th of July, there is a chance that I might decide not to stream on the 4th of July. I might just, take the holiday weekend a little bit off and easy and kind of hang out with family, assuming that family's even around, which they might not be this year. So we'll see what happens there, but I may or may not be streaming The Last of Us Part 1, Left Behind. So that's something that I am considering doing then. That's everything for the upcoming releases. Let's just talk a brief little bit to wrap up this video, basically. So just the last couple of weeks, I've been able to get a lot of work done. That includes, getting caught up on a lot of video production stuff that I've been stressing about the last couple of fortnights. Some of it took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but it's been going well, and I did manage to get it done. Also, I've completed, a couple major work projects for my IRL job this past fortnight, which has felt really good. So the next couple of weeks is basically, the rest of June, essentially, but so the next week and a half, 2 weeks, is basically just going to be me chilling, big chilling, basically. Come to turn of the month, I'll have to start producing July's videos. I'll be stressing about that at the time, but I am definitely going to actually allow myself to relax a little bit this fortnight, the remainder of the month, basically. I'll be continuing to do my IRL job, obviously, but even a lot of that job this next couple of weeks is going to be ramping up for the next couple of big projects, as opposed to the active big projects that I've been doing. So in the meantime, I'm going to relax, and I'm probably going to play a lot more Far Cry 6 DLC stuff so that I can make a video about it, and just because I've been having a really fun time playing that stuff. So that's basically what I've got going on. It is also around midsummer, and I have not been appreciating summer enough this year because 2026 is basically not existed. I've already commented about this in several videos at this point. I'm still stuck in March. It does not feel like it should be June, let alone basically July at this point. So I'm going to try to go out and actually, enjoy some of that a little bit while I'm at it too. But that is everything that I have for this video. I appreciate you for checking out this update if you did. For now, I'm going to get out of your face because I need to get this video edited and uploaded before, a couple hours from now, because I am very tired and need to go to bed. So, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. For now, I've been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.